let's have a sesh on correlation. So when we're thinking about marketing data, we will need to interpret that data. And if we interpret that data, we need to use interpretation methods. Now, the three interpretation methods are correlation, confidence intervals, and extrapolation. So if we're going to look at correlation in this video, then correlation is simply understanding the strength of a relationship. Understanding the strength of a relationship. And it's likely to be between two things, two variables. And it's often that they have a cause and effect relationship. For example, online advertising spend versus website visits. Now, if we chart that here, online advertising spend being the cause and the effect is website visits. Now, we can see here that as online advertising spend has increased, the website visits have increased. So that's an example of a positive correlation because it's clearly going in this direction, but it is extremely strong. It is a very strong positive correlation because those dots there are very tight and the line of best fit can move through it perfectly. Now, let's look at another correlation. So here we've got online advertising spend, and if we compare online advertising spend to not website visits but website sales, we can see that the crosses marking each of those points, well, this time they are not so perfect as before, but they are, if we put a line of best fit through it, they are giving a positive correlation, but it is not so much a strong positive correlation, so much as a weak positive correlation. So there is some sort of correlation there, but not as much as with the website visits. Now, we can also have other types of correlation. So here we've got online advertising spend, still that same item there. But again, this time we're going to compare it to brick and mortar sales. So physical shop sales as opposed to online e-commerce or m-commerce sales. And we can see that as online advertising revenue increases, the amount of sales that are in brick and mortar seem to be declining, decreasing. Clearly, as it's decreasing, it's providing us with a negative correlation, and the line of best fit does almost go through all of those crosses, marking each of those points, so it is a strong negative correlation. Now, the last type of correlation you need to be aware of is this time we're looking at online advertising spend and comparing it to staff absenteeism, and we can see that the crosses there provide absolutely no correlation whatsoever. It's impossible to get a line of best fit through that. So that's an example of no correlation. Now, it's worth considering when we're talking about correlation that there can be other things that get in the way and break these relationships up or lessen the actual real cause and effect relationship. For example, external influences is a good place to go. So if we look at the second one here, when we compared online advertising spend to website sales, well, maybe it's a weak positive correlation, but that's because there's a recession. And so there's less consumer income available and they're not willing to spend that income as much. And that's why maybe the sales have reduced. It's not so much to do with the online advertising spend. Or in the case of number 3, maybe the reason why you've got lower brick and mortar sales is because actually there's a health crisis and that's preventing people from being able to shop in a physical environment, and therefore that's why it sells. So you could actually have other things that could impact this relationship, so you could clearly always use that as an evaluation point that maybe there's this third or fourth external factor there that's not being represented within the correlation. So I hope that helps on correlation, and I'll see you at the next session.